What is going on, my fellow Jets fans? Welcome to the latest episode of the New York Jets State of Mind podcast, coming at you as I love to do each and every week. This is your boy, Malcolm Harper, aka MHJetsFan83. You can follow me on X, Instagram, and YouTube at MHJetsFan83, which is one word, all lowercase. You can find the audio version of this podcast on any of the digital platforms of Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music. The video version of this podcast will be available on my YouTube channel at MHJetsFan83. All my first time followers, welcome to my podcast. Or if you're watching on my YouTube channel for the first time, welcome to my channel. If you're already a subscriber, welcome back. Before I get to my thoughts on Super Bowl 59 between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs and the latest coaching hires, if you can do me a huge favor and share this podcast along with my social media accounts with not only other Jets fans, but NFL fans. That would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button so that my podcast and channel will grow. And leave me a comment as well on any of my previous episodes. I love to hear you guys' feedback. Now, with all that being said, let's get to Super Bowl 59, which will be happening this upcoming Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox. According to ESPN Bet, the Chiefs open as the favorites as -1.5 with the over-under at 49.5. And as I'm recording this episode right now, the Chiefs are still the favorite at -1.5 with the over-under ended up going slightly lower. Now it's down to 48.5. I'm going with the Eagles in this game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game this time around. It's not like the high-scoring game like it was 2 years ago. But my X factor is going to be Saquon Barkley. I'm going to go with 24-20, and Saquon Barkley will be the MVP of Super Bowl 59. Now, let's move right along to the recent hires of the Jets coaching staff. A lot has happened since my last episode last week when I reacted to the introductory press conference of Darren Muge and Aaron Glenn. After I recorded the previous episode, Adam Schefter tweeted that Aaron Glenn's contract is a 5-year deal, which contractually ties him to the organization through the 2029 season. I wanted to throw that out there just in case you guys didn't know what the actual contract was for Aaron Glenn. Now, let's start with Aaron Glenn's first hire. He hired Steve Wilks as the defensive coordinator. And I love this hire because he comes in with head coaching experience, especially being the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals and being the interim head coach of the Carolina Panthers, which, by the way, when he was interim head coach of the Carolina Panthers, they went 6-6. Not too bad. He is well respected around the league. In my opinion, he was basically the scapegoat in the 49ers loss to the Chiefs in last year's Super Bowl. Big shout out to Luke Grant from Play Like a Jet for this awesome tweet that he posted back on January 21st of this year. And he stated, what did Steve Wilks do to be fired from the San Francisco 49ers in 2023? On the surface, the numbers look great. So his defensive stats were 17.1 points per game allowed, which was third in the NFL. 304 total yards allowed per game, which is seventh in the league. 22 interceptions, which was first in the league, and 48 sacks, which is eighth in the league. And also, I posted on my X account, if you guys follow me on X, about Steve Wilks, and I actually retweeted. So if you follow me on X, you will definitely see what I'm talking about. He is 10 times better than Robert Saleh. He doesn't care about being your friend. And I absolutely love that. The next hire is going to be Steve Hyden, which is the new offensive line coach. He was the tight ends coach of the Detroit Lions, so hopefully he'll be better than Keith Carter. Keith Carter was terrible. I'm just got to throw that out there. This next hire that I absolutely love, Chris Banjo is hired by the Jets as the special teams coordinator. And the reason why I love this hire is because he was actually endorsed by Mike Westhoff. Remember him? Jets fans, he was the actual special teams coordinator for the New York Jets from 2001 to 2012. One of the best special teams coordinator ever in the NFL. One of the coaches that I'm also happy about is keeping wide receivers coach Shawn Jefferson. So there's the familiarity with him when he played with the New England Patriots when Bill Parcells was a coach. And that to me is going to make Garrett Wilson very, very happy. So the next hire is Chris Harris. He just got hired as defensive backs coach and defensive pass game coordinator. He joined Steve Wilks as part of the defensive coaching staff. The Jets also made another hire They hired inside linebackers coach from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Curry, as the new linebackers coach. Now, here is my dark horse hire. The Jets hire Tanner Enstrand as the new offensive coordinator. This, in my opinion, is one of the important hires of Aaron Glenn's coaching staff. He was the Lions pass game coordinator, but obviously Ben Johnson was calling the plays. And Enstrand has called plays before, but not at the NFL level. He was the offensive coordinator for the University of San Diego under Jim Harbaugh in 2005. He later moved on to the University of Michigan as an offensive analyst with Jim Harbaugh in 2018. And in 2020, pre-pandemic, by the way, he was the offensive coordinator of the DC Defenders of the XFL. Then after COVID ended up happening, when the XFL ended up folding, he ended up moving on to become the Lions offensive assistant that same year. Now, on my X account, I also retweeted Tanner Enstrand when asked about the play call, and he said he comes from a West Coast offense. I think he'll incorporate some concepts that he learned from Ben Johnson into the West Coast offense. The very next hire is Eric Washington as the defensive line coach, another one who has worked with Steve Wilks, the defensive coordinator out in Carolina for years. So the next hire is going to be Charles London, the quarterbacks coach. He was the quarterbacks coach of the Seattle Seahawks last season. Scott Turner, the son of Norv Turner, was hired as pass game coordinator. He is a very valuable resource for the new offensive coordinator. Today, a couple of hours ago, Football Scoop, the sources tell Football Scoop that former NFL cornerback Roosevelt Williams has accepted a role with the Jets as his defensive assistant. He was the cornerbacks coach from Houston Christian University. So now, right now, we still need a running backs coach and a tight ends coach. Now, let me get back to the offensive coordinator for a second. And I've been pounding the table for the last few weeks since Aaron Glenn got hired as the head coach that he needs to actually hire a senior offensive assistant to help the first time OC. Todd Haley, Doug Peterson, or Anthony Lynn, any one of those three, I'm totally on board with. The one common denominator in all those names that I just mentioned, that they all been previously head coaches in the NFL. So that is pretty significant because Aaron Glenn's the first time head coach, and you lean on any one of those along with Steve Wilks, and that's what they would do in these in-game situations. Now, in other Jets news, did y'all see on the Pat McAfee show where Michael Cole, which by the way, on a side note, I'm a huge WWE fan, so Michael Cole is a huge Jets fan. And he asked Adam Schefter on the Pat McAfee show about the future of Aaron Rodgers. And Adam Schefter's direct response to Michael Cole saying, from a talent standpoint, there's probably not a better option out there than Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback position for the New York Jets. We still don't know if Rodgers wants to keep playing or if the Jets want him back. Pat McAfee said that feels like the stars are aligning for Rodgers' return to the Jets. And McAfee stated based on the lack of other quarterback options for this team. In my opinion, and I have said this on my X account since the Jets season ended and Aaron Glenn was hired as the head coach, I am so convinced that Aaron Rodgers is coming back to the Jets. But we'll see in the next several weeks, especially when the NFL Scouting Combine rolls around at the end of the month and when the new league year, free agency, begins on March 12th at 4 p.m. Eastern. So those are my thoughts on the latest Jets news. So before I get on out of here, let's get to my favorite part of the podcast. And you guys know what it is. It's a new follower shout out. I am always a man of the people on this show. So each new follower that follows me either on X, Instagram, and or YouTube, I will personally give you a shout out. So with that said, I want to give a shout out to the following new followers on X. So it's Pro Football Hall of Fame International Ambassador, aka PFHOF Ambassador, YouTube promoter, aka at Go for Promoter, Irish Jet, aka Irish_Jet, Krista, aka That's So Krista. Big shout out to you. That's my girl there. Thank you for following me. I appreciate it. Tim McHoog, aka McQ, Edward Fowler, aka at Fowler Edward 93238, and Benny Baboom, aka the Benny Baboom. I would like to give a shout out to the new followers on Instagram. Krista, That's So Krista. She's following me again on Instagram. Take Flight underscore today, Ruby Bonds 33, and Benny Baboon. I'd like to give a shout out to the following new followers on YouTube: Uptown Sports TV. Also, for this shout out is very, very special to me. I want to give a huge shout out to Girls Gone Green. Tracy is a huge Eagles fan, and Donna is a huge Jets fan. They do an awesome job every Wednesday during the NFL season. I will be adding their link in the description, so make sure you follow them on YouTube. They need new followers as well. So, with all that being said, I'm signing off. You guys are awesome. I can't thank you enough for supporting me on this podcast and all of my social media accounts. Let me know what you guys think of the coaching hires so far in the comments section. Also, hit the like and subscribe on my YouTube channel or any of my digital platforms of Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music. So when I publish a new episode, you will get a notification. Also, follow me on my social media pages of X and Instagram. I'm going to be back next week to recap what happened at Super Bowl 59 and the latest Jets news. Hopefully, we will have the running backs coach and the tight ends coach filled by then. So until then, as always, JETS, 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 Jets. Stay safe and take care.